That just took me 3 attempts to press the record button.
Hi guys,
Hey
welcome
guys.
to another mukbang, and we have another very special guest. The reason I say another special guest is because we recently had Nicole from Banana TV on a mukbang video with us. If you haven't seen that, we'll link it in the description below. And today we have the lovely Joey from Joey Carbstrong.
Hello. How you going?
Joey.
Very good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Joey.
It's a pleasure to have you, mate. Thanks
Awesome
for being
having
here.
you.
No worries.
Cool. So, first, food.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We have a smorgasbord. Chef Luca outdid himself today.
They're just whole plant foods, whack them together, done. We've got some jasmine brown rice, bullotty beans, we've got steamed broccoli, collie, carrots, and sweet potato, regular white potato, lettuce, cherry tomatoes, cucumber. We've got a lot.
We got everything. We got whole foods, baby. This is what we focus on. Joey loves his whole foods.
Got to get the whole foods in.
Yeah. So, what else do we have here?
I think that's
Is that it?
Yeah, I think we get eating.
And we always eat our food with chopsticks. Chopsticks.
Yes. Well, I'm using a fork, alright?
We've only got 2 sets. Joey and I are flying the chopstick flags today.
Well, it's more that if I use chopstick, I do a lot of the talking, so nothing's gonna
That's
it's
true.
just gonna be a drama.
Alright, let's start eating.
We are starving. So, Chef Luca, any special tips on your recipe today? What
No.
you cooked? Oh,
No,
come
no,
on, give the people something.
just chop them up, cook them in your rice cooker. You can steam the veggies in the rice cooker as well. We've got the potatoes, we've got more potatoes coming in the background in the convection oven.
If you hear a hum, it's Alberto. This is our son, our adopted son.
If you haven't met him, we've got a video on what he is, a convection oven.
Oven.
We'll link that in the description below as well.
And he's cooking round 2 of potatoes, so you can hear that in the background. You might hear a ding. Don't panic, it's just potatoes. And the veggies were just steamed, really easy.
Yep,
So,
everything's just super easy.
yeah.
Yum.
Let us know what you're eating down below. Joe is already
I've
he's
dropped the
already
plate
making
now.
There's also some steamed cherry tomatoes in here. They're really nice if you've never done that before. So juicy.
So juicy.
That's one of Joey's catch cries. If you haven't seen Joey's channel before, it's one of our favourite things. We're always snapping Joey saying, so juicy.
I do a lot of comedy on my channel, so it's a little bit of a mixture, so it's entertaining. It's not just activism based all the time.
Yeah.
It's a great variety. It's like a variety show.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get.
The Joey Variety Show.
With Uncle Joey. It sounds a little bit scary, doesn't it? Don't be scared.
So Joey has an extremely colourful past. Haven't you, mate?
And this is the reason why we've got Joey on today with us, because he is unique in so many ways to so many people that we know in our lives and that we've spoken to on the channel. So we wanted to introduce him to our audience.
Yes, we have featured Joey in a video on our channel before, which we'll also link in the description box below.
Yeah. So let's
We've got the
start.
man here today, which
Oh.
is even better.
This, get ready. Make sure you're eating something while you're listening to this story.
Yes.
This is like story time, Joey time,
Exactly.
food time.
And comment down below, what are you eating while you're watching us eat?
Yeah. All right, let's start, mister. Please describe what your life used to be like.
Well,
Here we go.
my life was, we could call it a collection of circumstances that were a result of my choices. So I made a lot of bad choices. I was in a bad state of mind. My state of mind was usually influenced by my addiction to various drugs and alcohol, and also a very ego-based, negative sort of. The people I was hanging out with, they were very ego-based and ego-driven. I was involved with a lot of gangs, and there was a lot of violent crime around, and you sort of had to adapt to your environment, and that's what happened to me. I became a product of my environment, a good soul, but just misled and trying to fit in, and very confused, and yeah, so it was a very, very tough time of my life. It lasted for about 12 years.
Really?
So
12 years?
Didn't know that, 12 years.
That's a long
yeah,
time.
so from when I was about 14, I started experimenting with drugs, and because I had a genetic predisposition to drug use and alcohol use from my father's and mother's sides of the family. It really got a hold of me, and yeah, it was a roller coaster. I'm glad to be out the other end now, but yeah.
So there was drugs and alcohol as well?
Alcohol, definitely. I would use different drugs together. a lot of stimulants, so I'd use speed to stimulate me, and then I didn't like the anxiety feeling, so I'd use like alcohol to numb the anxiety, and so it was like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
I'd use uppers with downers, and you know, I'd stay up for a long time. I'd stay up for days on end, and you know, my mind would play tricks on me. I'd become aggressive, and it's totally out of my kind nature as a person, because I know that I'm not a bad person, but I think sometimes good people can do bad things when under the influence, which is, you know, it's a topic up for debate, but I do think that good people can do things that are against their character.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so-
Definitely. So, Joey, what's the worst thing you ever did that you feel comfortable sharing with an audience? So it doesn't have to be the worst if the worst is not really something you could share. But
There's obviously things that I would never share,
yeah.
because they don't need to be. No one needs to know.
Yeah.
But there's been I regret, you know, senseless acts of violence on people who didn't deserve it. You know, I do regret bringing my family into my problems for all these years, and especially my mum. I mean, I remember my grandfather was dying of cancer, and I was in the mental ward of the hospital, and he was dying of cancer, and he come in there to comfort me, but whereas I should have been there supporting him.
Oh, wow.
This was in the last weeks of his life. I regret being on the run from the police at the time of my grandfather's funeral, when my grandfather had died, and I couldn't attend the funeral because the police were looking for me. So I couldn't be there to support my mother, who lost her father, and I was just in and out of prison, and just making a bad situation even worse.
Well, this sounds incredible. Like,
It does.
you know, we know Joey, and to hear these words and these experiences come from your mouth, it's just like, that's not the person that we know and that's sitting here. Do you feel like when you talk about this, it's another life, another person, like you can't even comprehend how you were that?
You know, it's sort of like remembering a dream. You know, it's sort of a bit hazy, and it's like when you have a bad dream or something, it's really dull, and it's a bit, you know, because nothing is as vibrant as it is now. Like back then, nothing was vibrant. I was always, you know, always down and always focused on something bad and negative, always looking over my shoulder and paranoid, and I didn't have the sense of purpose that I have now. Now I would never think of doing that to another, because I know what it would feel like.
Yeah.
So, the worst thing would probably be, you know, bringing the people around me that are affected because of this. I mean, it's okay not to care about yourself, but you got to care about the people that are affected by it. Like, you know, some people are like, I don't care if I smoke cigarettes, but no, you smoke cigarettes, and it's the people that have to watch you die in hospital.
Yeah.
You know, so your actions affect your family and the people that love you.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
Absolutely, Joey, and this relates to veganism so much.
Yes.
So much, because you mentioned smoking, yeah? Well, processed meats, for example, have been classified as class 1 carcinogens in the same group as tobacco.
Exactly.
Right? So
what's
when
the
you eat
difference?
meat, dairy and eggs, not only are you taking the lives of innocent animals who wanted to live, destroying the environment, but you are putting yourself at a much elevated risk of developing the leading causes of disease like heart disease, cancer, strokes, and so on. Now, you might be fine with that, and those diseases might take, you know, a long time to manifest, but
Your family
you're putting
has to watch.
Your family has to watch your eventual demise, and do you want them at your hospital bedside weeping and just for something that you could have avoided?
Yeah.
It's preventable.
Yeah.
Preventable.
Yeah.
You know, the thing, I watched my father recently die. He died in my arms. We were, as a family, we sat there and we watched him pass away, and we watched for 5 years as he suffered. Now he suffered because of his own lifestyle choices. I gave him many opportunities to see what a healthy diet and lifestyle could do, but he didn't want to do anything like that. He'd rather listen to the doctors and be a victim of his own circumstance, of his own choices. So
that's the hardest thing,
It's
isn't
hard.
it? As
It's very
a
hard.
child, you know, like we're always children, even if we're in our 30s, we're always the children of our parents. That's the hardest thing, to watch them
It was so
not
hard.
listen.
And the other thing I'm asking, we asked you what was one of the worst things you did or the worst thing you did. And you spoke about the regret that you had for causing pain, unnecessary pain and suffering to your family, yeah? So, of all the things that you can do, that's one of your biggest regrets.
Exactly.
So, think about this, guys.
Yeah.
Think about the loved ones that you are affecting with your lifestyle choices.
With your health, you don't have health, you don't have anything, you don't have your life, and without your life you can't, you can have all these material things around you, they mean nothing if you don't have your health to enjoy them with.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So,
nothing.
That's why I plead with people, please think about your health, because, stop eating the number one causes of disease, which is from animal products, and I don't really believe in much of the spiritual stuff, but I do when I think of karma, and I think of the suffering that the animal goes through, that you put the animal through, then it comes back to haunt you in the end. The people are suffering and dying in hospital, but it's just a mirror of what they caused.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
What we do to the animals, we do onto ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just the way it works.
Yeah. We reap what we sow.
Yeah.
All of those sayings exist for a reason.
Yeah.
Round 2 of potatoes.
Woo-hoo!
We had to take a little break. It's like a little commercial break.
I like sweet potatoes.
Of course you do. All right. So from that, you ended up in jail. True?
Yes, I ended up in prison. That's where it all come to a head. I was incarcerated for 1 week. Then I was released on home detention bail, awaiting sentencing. And while I was on home detention for 18 months, I was still using drugs, still running amok, still being violent and things like that. So I hadn't learned my lesson yet until I was sentenced, went to prison, and I had this barrier between me and drugs. And I started training, and I was sober, and that's when I started to look at my life from a new perspective.
So that was the first time you were sober since the age of 14?
14.
Wow.
It was the longest I'd been sober for. Like, I had weeks, 1 or 2 weeks where I'd been sober, maybe 1 week, but this is the longest I'd ever been sober for a long period of time.
Summarise jail in like a sentence. How bad was it?
As bad as you made it. So
That's interesting.
you could
Because you got something positive out of it, big time.
well, yes. I mean, it's not somewhere you want to be. I mean, there's a lot of people in there that have a victim mentality, but they are really a victim of their own choices, and they like to blame the police and blame other people, and but really they have to look inside themselves, and they get out of prison, they do exactly the same thing, and they go straight back. And I vowed not to be one of them people. I vowed not to get out and go back in for a dirty urine test for using drugs again. I vowed not to. But I had this sense of clarity in there. I seen my life from a new perspective, and I had all the answers within me, but I was always clouded from drugs and alcohol and the people I was hanging around, that I could never see this truth that I already had. So, yeah.
Is that when you started to think about veganism?
I had already had the seed planted, because
Really?
while I was on home detention, I met this guy on YouTube. His name was Dan McDonald. And he was doing the juice fasting, and he touched on the subject of ethics and things like that, and I was like, wow, he's right. He's right. And so the seed was planted, but I didn't take action until I'd been sober, because if you're taking drugs and alcohol, you don't even care about yourself, so why would you care about animals? It's just
That's so
Simple
true.
as that.
yeah.
So what's so interesting about your story, Joey, is that you kind of like smash the stereotype of what a vegan man should be. Because a lot of, there is a stereotype that vegan men are weak, or wimpy, or just not your
Tree-hugging
rough.
hippies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not-
That wear
they're not
flowers
rough.
in their hair and...
And so it's really, really cool to hear your story, because like if a lot of men say, oh, well, I can never be vegan, that's for girls, or that's for women, or that's for pussies, or whatever. It's like, well...
Bug life turned heart life.
Well, that's the thing. I can be very relatable to a certain demographic of people who think that not eating animals is feminine.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, it takes more of a man to stand up for innocent animals. You got to remember, animals are more innocent than children.
Yeah.
Because children can still grow up and be bad people. But animals never do. A cow or a chicken has never attacked anyone.
No.
So we live in a society where we're very defensive over our children, you know, and it's manly to defend children, but all of a sudden, like, people have this mentality where it's not manly to defend animals.
Yeah.
So people think that it's soft of me to not want to harm innocent animals. It's just insanity, and it's mostly programming. People think steak is manly, and so I'd say right now it's not manly to imprison, enslave, and murder an innocent cow just so you can have something on your fork. I mean, we've got potatoes which don't feel pain and don't suffer. So
Yeah.
Spot on. Now, as we always say, from a you know, eating meat is supposed to be manly. Manly is associated with, you know, having testosterone.
yeah.
And there's nothing that's worse from a woman's point of view than having a partner
Where's it going?
who can't get it up. Let's face it, because cholesterol, which
We
is
know where
only
you're
found
going,
in,
Luca.
which is only found in animal foods, blocks the flow of blood to all parts of the body.
All
So
parts.
how is that manly? It's
The
ridiculous.
first telltale sign of heart disease is your penis stops working because the small veins in the penis
Yeah.
block up.
Are
It's
you
the canary
watching
in the
this?
coal mine, isn't it?
You want to be this one or do you want to be that one? you be the judge.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, well, where do we go from there? Jeez.
That threw me off track a little bit. And I like
It's
it.
true.
I want to talk about Joey, as we said before, has a variety of videos on his channel, all sorts of different style videos. Our absolute favourite, and I know a lot of Joey's most loyal subscribers also feel the same as us, is that Joey has a gift for his street talk interviews with people where he questions them about veganism and ethics.
Thanks, Luca.
And it blows us away because we would seriously lose our shit
Yeah.
in those situations,
Yeah.
and you're just like so calm and so level-headed,
Yeah.
and we sit here watching it going, Joey, how are you doing it?
Yeah.
How are you doing it?
Like an
Yeah,
analogy,
like it's
exactly.
just
An analogy
incredible.
is like people who care for mentally or physically challenged people. Often, not everybody is cut out to do that work. It
Yeah.
takes a certain type of person. Well, it's a bit like these street interviews. Not
Yeah.
everybody is cut out to conduct them
No.
in the amazing fashion that Joey does. So I think we are inspired. aren't
We
Like,
are,
it's-
we
it's
are,
just
yeah.
really-
Yeah, but how do you approach someone on the street and say, you know, like how do you do it? How do you start? Tell us your secrets.
Okay, so I approach people by asking them first if they would like to be interviewed. And, you know, usually people really want to give their point of view and opinion on something. It might be a Saturday night, they're out with their girlfriend, people do want to share their opinions on things because a lot of people feel like, you know, what they know is, you know, the absolute truth. They want to share that. But you were saying, like, you admire the fact that I don't lose myself in the moment. I suppose I've dealt with really hectic situations before in my past, and I've remained calm in those situations. So these situations really don't
Set you off.
They don't set me off. So I know that I've got a job to do, and if I get set off, it's not going to be the most effective form of activism.
No.
I want them to express their thoughts on the situation so people can see the complete hypocrisy so that the audience can see the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
You know,
Essentially, you give them enough rope, don't you?
yes. So
Yeah.
I question them. I ask them the right questions to lead them to their own realization
Yeah.
instead of me telling them.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of Joey's effectiveness and activism in this
Yeah,
regard. It's
because
leading people to their own realization.
Because it's not just those people that you're leading, it's everybody watching. And this is the thing, you have that conversation with one, but then you put it on YouTube, and it's not just, you're not just trying to convince that one person you're speaking to. You're
No,
reaching
because
so many
any
others.
non-vegan watching would see themselves
Yeah.
in the non-vegan's shoes that Joey is interviewing, and would listen to the answers that they're giving and think, well, I would have
You can
answered it.
hear it.
I would have answered the question that way.
Exactly.
But geez, hearing it like this, it does seem quite hypocritical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not always the activism that happens on the street, it's when I put it in my video and the audience that sees it, that's when the real effect happens. So
Yeah.
I encourage people to always put their activism on social media because that's where change really happens. Otherwise it's just falling on the ears of the few that are there. So
Yeah.
Joey, any feedback from anyone on those videos? at all, like that they were affected by it, that you got them thinking differently?
Definitely.
Anything that comes to mind that you want to share?
Probably one of my most effective videos was the Animal Holocaust video.
That was powerful.
And I had numerous people say that turned them vegan, stopped them from eating meat. It was shared by a really big Facebook page,
That's right.
and it got a lot of views, and a lot of people said they don't want to eat meat anymore. I've had people email me saying to me that they want to go vegan, and just they are working, they are doing something, and like even if one person turns vegan,
job done, isn't it?
it's 200 animals per year per person. I mean, that's a lot. That's a big impact. You just turning one person vegan. So it's always a win. It's always a win.
Yeah. We get a lot of questions from people asking, how do I be an activist? I'm too scared. I don't know what to do. What's the best form?
Okay.
I mean, we always say social media.
Yeah.
Is that,
Social media, but in regards to being scared, I'd ask you to shift your perspective to the point of view of the victim, the animal here. How scared would the chicken in the cage be about to get its head chopped off? And that will give you sort of a different perspective, and then you will sort of put all your small conscience issues and confidence issues aside when you look at it from the victim's perspective, and that's what makes a good activist. And I know that you guys do that as well. That's why you have such effective activism on your channel.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's what we always harp on about. The problems we have in the world today can all be, tied back to our inability to put ourselves in the shoes of the victim.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that goes for all the problems can be tied back to that.
Yeah.
The lack of empathy, the apathy.
And the thing is, we're all victims in a way of whatever our circumstances are. Obviously, some people are born into more of a victim situation than others, but each of us has experienced a point in our lives where we're like victims of something. And so we have to tap into that and go, well, that happened to me, and I can somehow relate that to what the animals are doing or are experiencing, and harness that, basically. You have to harness it. So it's interesting.
Some people are more empathetic than others. I always have been an empath, even in my bad days. I always felt a deep sense of regret. So I understood that it was wrong, but I never aligned my morals with my actions. I mean, and that's a big thing that a lot of people don't do. I mean, they have these deep-seated, ingrained beliefs that they're a good person, but their actions completely contradict that. Like if you look at your dinner plate and you say, I'm not a violent person, but there's 3 types of dead animal on your plate and the excretions of another suffering mother, then obviously your actions aren't in alignment with your beliefs.
Exactly.
So, and when you tell people about that, when you show people that, they are angry. They're angry because they don't want to know. No, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. But
peace begins on our plates. And the roadmap to peace, in terms of conflicts between nations, as Phil Wallen says, is written on the menu.
And I think that rocks people to their core.
Yes.
As the potato flew out of my mouth. I think that's what people are responding to in such a aggressive and violent.
It's the moral schizophrenia.
It is,
isn't it? It's the cognitive dissonance.
I don't think people are bad people inherently. No way I'm saying. I'm saying their actions are bad and they're unaware of it.
Well, it's all learned behaviour. So,
behaviour.
we all did it. We all did it, and we didn't know. But then once you know, you have to change. So
you have a responsibility to change.
Exactly. And as a vegan, you have a responsibility to take that potatoes. As a vegan, you have that responsibility to take that one step further and help educate others.
Definitely.
Because I guess
you have to be an activist.
Yeah, as a vegan, you're simply, it's amazing, it's wonderful, it's fantastic, of course, in a non-vegan world particularly, because there are so many obstacles and challenges. However, you're simply choosing not to participate in the violence towards animals as a vegan. Having said that, you need to step that non-participation in the violence up to being active, actively helping others, actively educating others to also not participate. Isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, our closing line on most of our videos is going vegan is not the most we can do. meaning that's the least we can do, and then we've got to take the next step. We need to be more active.
Yeah, and if someone doesn't want to, I mean, social media is the best way. You can start a Facebook page, you can start an Instagram account, and you can spread things anonymously. You know, if you're self-conscious, for example.
Yeah.
You can step it up and have a YouTube channel where you actually put your face out there, and you can. Another effective form is leafleting, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
really
whatever
good.
someone feels comfortable with.
Even just in your day-to-day life, creating conversation at work.
Yes.
You don't have to be in your face.
No.
You can be tactful.
Yeah.
You can just drop little hints and facts about dairy consumption, about, you know, you can just read the person and see that they are unhealthy, they've got no energy, and then you can take that angle.
Yeah.
I mean,
you've had a heap of success in your workplace, haven't you? Influencing your colleagues.
Massive. And like my workplace is full of construction workers and stuff like that. But I've got a way of reading people, and you know, I don't just walk in and say you're killing animals. That's wrong. I don't do that. I mean, on my social media, it's different. You come to my channel, you're going to get, you know, the truth uncensored. But in my day-to-day life, I read people. I like to see what the lifestyle can do for them, and then I go on that angle. And the ethics might come a little bit later. I might just slip the ethics in, but you know.
Joey, I'm thinking of one guy in particular that you had a hugely positive influence on, who's now vegan. But not only is he vegan, he's kind of an activist himself. He's
a massive activist. He went from being complete meat eater. I brought out this video directed to an Australian rapper called 360. 360 watched it, responded to it, and stopped eating meat and dairy the next day.
Amazing. You've got to check out that video on Joey's channel.
Everything linked down below.
Wow.
So that day, my brother seen that 360 watched my video, then my brother went vegan. I've been trying for years. And then this guy at work, he went vegan. And now he's like an outspoken militant activist for animal rights in his day-to-day life. He's not on YouTube, but he really wants to get on YouTube. And he just feels like this veil has been lifted, and he can't believe he's been participating in it. And he's kind of angry.
Yeah.
He's angry that he didn't know. All I did was show him the reality of a slaughterhouse, and he's like, I don't want to participate in that.
Yeah. And it can be that simple. Like, a lot of people overcomplicate it. But it can be that simple. Just show them the truth, speak from your heart, and boom.
Exactly. Speaking of simple and easy, Joey reminds me of the facilitator. Now, the word facilitate comes from like the Italian and Latin facilitare or something like that, which means to make easy. To make easy. Joey makes veganism easy for people. I love it. That guy in particular, you know, you brought him a whole lot of vegan foods like plant milks and plant-based meats and what have you for him and his son. Yeah. He was bowled over by your generosity and your thoughtfulness, and then obviously he loved that he could still eat everything that he was used to eating without causing the harm. Basically, you make things easy, and you also have done it with your mum. You give her plant-based milks and cheeses and stuff to try.
I mean, people like to know that they're not going to be missing out on anything. Yeah. I mean, ice creams, donuts, cakes, Snickers bars. You can source vegan alternatives to all of those things. People don't have to miss out. And
so sometimes you just got to buy it for them, put it there in their hand.
Well, that's what I went and did because I'm passionate about. I mean, and $50 out of my pocket means nothing to the animal's life that gets saved. And once I see there's a glimmer of light in there, I act. I act and I go out and I do what I have to do because that's what being an activist is, you know. And you know,
word active.
Active. You know, try your best, and don't waste your time on people that don't want to hear the truth. There's always someone out there that's ready.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And for every 9 people that aren't ready, there'll be one that is. So
keep trying. It's a numbers game. You've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep at it.
Try every approach with each person and then move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're done.
Health, ethics, environment, happy, sad, angry, and then move on.
Yes.
Good. So, how long are we going for? All right, we are talkers, mate. This has been awesome. To wrap this up, in a nutshell, someone that has basically had one of the roughest backgrounds that we know of is now influencing other men. I mean,
so
that's women,
If you have a partner, a brother, a father, an uncle, a cousin, a friend, that's male and you think they could relate to Joey's story and Joey's style, please
Hand them over.
Yeah, hand them over to Joey's channel.
And have faith in this story, because we do get a lot of emails and comments from women saying, what am I going to do with this person in my life? I love them, but they're using whatever substance. How can I get them to reconnect to their heart, to improve their health, their life, and ultimately go vegan? Here's an example that it is possible. Anything is possible. You know, if Joey can do it, any guy out there can do it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, it takes some courage. It takes some courage because you're standing against, you know, a tidal wave of opposition. But that's why it takes courage. That's why it takes strength. I mean, anyone can follow status quo and be like the rest of them, but it takes a real man to stand for something that matters. And that's why I think it's more manly to be vegan, to care about animals and to care about, you know, other people as well. So yeah, that's the sort of mentality you have to, that's the sort of perspective you have to have on it. Not like, you know, eating steak is manly and stuff like that. It means nothing. It means nothing.
That's it. Yeah, real men eat plants.
That's
There
it.
you go.
Real men eat plants.
Do it.
That's it. Real men are vegan, real men care. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
What a story, eh?
Awesome.
This is like surreal.
Yeah.
They didn't even edit me in the video. I'm actually in the video.
He's really here. He's here. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Yeah, please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.
Yep, we're going to link, obviously, Joey down below and a few other
Go and
resources.
subscribe, definitely.
Yeah, he's part of the vegan. If you're wondering, if you've never heard of Joey, right, and you're wondering what this is the Vegan Illuminati. Do you have
Vegan
one?
Illuminati. It's on the t-shirt. Yeah.
So it's a little conspiracy.
It's a
thing.
positive spin on the Illuminati. We care for animals and care about the planet.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Beautiful.
All right, let's sign out.
Thanks, mate.
Vegan Illuminati.
Vegan Illuminati.
Where's your thing?
Vegan Illuminati. Remember, guys, until next time, as Joey's clearly indicated here, going vegan is not the most we can do.
It's the least we can do. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Joey.
See you next time,
See you
guys.
next video.
Yeah.
Bye.
It doesn't matter if it's acne, if it's diabetes, if it's heart disease, if it's
PCOS.
bloating, whatever, PCOS, anything. This is in the body. We have to look at what we're eating and what we're doing.